Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, still not a licensed physician, still never giving medical advice. It's purely educational and informational. And you know I can't be a licensed physician if I look this good, because most of them look pretty lousy. I'm just joking, because of course I will look this good once I'm licensed. Most of them are in horrible shape, unhealthy, stupid, ugly. Just how it is. Not all of them, of course, but most. Perhaps that was a bad way to open up this video, but some of my bad feelings towards doctors coming out. And perhaps you will see why in this video. So, a lot of people who work as doctors, as I like to call them, because they're not truly doctors, they're just people who went to school, got a degree, and now they can legally work as a doctor and hurt people. They like to save people from drug addiction by making them suffer. And I don't mean like, oh, you cut your finger, it hurts a little, or like you burn it on the stove, ooh, you're in pain, you don't need painkillers. Yeah, you don't need painkillers, you just burnt your finger on the stove. But the thing is, some people have a lot more pain than a burnt finger on a stove. But these doctors, these people who work as doctors, they've never experienced pain in their life. They think that your pain is like when you accidentally close your finger in a door, when you twist your ankle. Who knows, maybe maybe they fell off their bike one time. If they ride a bike, because most of them aren't very healthy. The point is, most of them don't know what pain is. They've never experienced it, and their patients that are in sometimes severe pain get neglected. They tell their patients, well, I can't give you more of these medications because you might get addicted to it, so instead you're going to have to be there in agony and wish you were dead. Because that's a lot better than feeling okay. Because you might get addicted to feeling okay. It's moronic. But this notion that opioids are so evil and addicting has permeated our society that you got people wanting to completely get rid of opioids from medicine. They're trying to say, oh, the doctors are evil because they give people opioids. No, it's actually the reverse. Doctors are evil when they force people to suffer and want to kill themselves because they're in so much pain. And I don't mean that everyone literally wants to kill themselves. I mean that if you're in a lot of pain, you don't really enjoy being alive. It's miserable. And it's evil to force someone to suffer if they don't have to. I guess that's debatable because suffering can make you stronger, but in the medical sense, in a humane sense, it's like you don't inflict pain that you don't need to do. So if someone gets a major surgery and you have painkillers, you don't go, well, I think you should just go without them because you might like them. You might like not being in pain. So I'm not going to give them to you because I'm going to save you from that because you might keep taking them. Now, of course, they try to say, well, it's because they'll get addicted for life. It's like, yeah, they might, but you know what might happen if you don't give them to them? They're in pain, they're not retarded, so they're probably going to try to do something to get rid of the pain. That's natural human instinct when you're in pain. Who knows, they might down a whole bottle of vodka. They might go to the street and buy some heroin. They might buy some fentanyl. Who knows what they actually get and how safe it is if there's a hot spot in it. They might overdose and kill themselves the very first time they ever buy painkillers on the street. It's not, and I guess the best case scenario is they don't do anything, they just suffer. But why are they suffering? They don't need to suffer. But I guess stupid, ignorant people continue to make the argument that they're being saved from opioid addiction because everybody who ever takes opioids gets addicted. It's impossible to take them and not get addicted, just like it's impossible to drink a beer and not become an alcoholic. That's how stupid this logic is. It's like saying, well, you can't ever drink beer because you'll become an alcoholic. No, not ever. You don't become an addict because you try something. You become an addict because you have serious internal problems, mental problems, and then you find a solution to them that allows you to ignore the problems. It's not because the substance itself is so inherently addicting. I know Alcoholics Anonymous, for example, tries to tell people that you're just born an addict. It's not true. I mean, maybe there's like 1 in a billion people, or who knows, maybe 1 in a million people who are just born incredibly likely to become addicted. Well, you don't need to worry about giving them opioids because they're going to be addicted to alcohol or something else. If somebody's an addict, well, and also you're not born an addict 99.9% of the time. Like I said, it's because you've got some serious issues that you have not resolved. And not necessarily like mental issues, like not mental illness, but your life could be shit. And instead of fixing your life, you just keep using alcohol, opioids, whatever it is. Point is, you don't create an addict out of somebody who's not an addict. And yeah, that makes it sound like it's like you're born an addict, but no, you're not. It's about your life situation. And perhaps small percent genetic influences. Yeah, it's just horrible how many people have to suffer because these doctors, I just say doctors because it's shorter, but they're not doctors. They're people who work as doctors. They've never experienced pain. They have no idea what it's like. They study in school. Oh, pain is like this. And if you have this much pain, you only need to take this much medication because, it makes it okay. And if you have this much pain, and if someone has this much pain, they'll look like this. And if they have this much pain, they'll look like this. It's so ignorant. They know nothing about pain. They've never been in real pain. Only someone who's actually experienced pain knows anything about pain. And most people have never experienced pain. Luckily, we have a very nice, safe, soft society world nowadays where most people don't have to experience severe pain. They're lucky, but they should never be in charge of pain medications. I think you should only be able to decide whether a patient gets pain medications if you've been in pain yourself. Or you could just say anyone can take any amount of pain medications they want. They're the judge of how much they need. That's really how it should be. Because you can't measure how much pain somebody's in. You can't be like, oh, well, the nerve is only compressed 23%, and that means that it's only like a level 6 out of 10 pain. No, it doesn't work like that. It kind of works like that. But no, it doesn't. You cannot measure how much pain somebody's in. Stupid people think everything is simple enough to be made very straightforward and objective. Like, oh, but the nerve is only compressed this much, and this, like, it's the same for each person. Like, if it's compressed this much on this person, it's the same as if it's compressed the same amount on them. No, everybody's nervous system is different. It doesn't matter if you inflict the same injury on 1,000 different people, they're all going to feel different. They may feel similar, but they're all going to feel different. And people's nervous systems work so much differently that some people develop pain syndromes. Some people have no issues. Those are like the different ends of the spectrum. Yeah. And then you got kind of unrelated, not completely, but largely, is then you got the asshole people who work as doctors who believe, well, my patient's not going to remember anything because I gave him a bunch of downers, central nervous system depressants, during their surgery, so, I don't need to give them painkillers because they're not going to remember it. What if they do remember it? And just because they don't remember it means it doesn't matter? You don't think that somewhere in their brain that it can remember that trauma of being in excruciating pain and it's going to affect them later? Maybe there's no memory at all. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it smart. Doesn't make it good. You should always get rid of the pain, not just try to get rid of the memory. Often it doesn't work. You got people that are like in immense pain while they're in surgery, but they're on paralytics, so they can't move or speak. And they don't, oh no, they're fine, they can't remember it, they're not awake, they don't know what's going on. According to you, and you have no idea what you're talking about because you're not in their body. Oh, but the heart rate is this and this. You're an idiot. Those measurements do not tell you what's going on. People are so different that you can't use your measurements to go, oh, well, they're not going to feel bad. Well, I gave them the same amount of medication as I give everyone else. You know how well that works out for like everything in life? It doesn't. One person can drink 2 drinks of alcohol and get kind of drunk. Another person can drink 20 drinks of alcohol and get kind of drunk. So what makes you think that when you give someone 10 milligrams of morphine, that it's the same as giving someone else 10 milligrams of morphine? It's not. Yeah. It's just sad how painkillers have been so demonized, and it leads to people suffering, and it ruins lives. Even for the simple reason of you want to protect them from opioid addiction, so you put them in a state where they need opioids incredibly more. Because guess what? You have a patient, you give them enough opioids, and they're like, okay, now I'm not in any pain, they're okay. They don't think about the opioids, they just take it like their medication, they go on with their life, they're functional. I mean, who knows, maybe they got some surgery, they can't really move around. But the point is that they're taking a good, healthy amount of them that is not insane. You don't give them opioids, and now they have to try to find them on the street, and they get some fentanyl, and they smoke that. You think they're gonna get just enough? No, they're gonna get a nuclear bomb amount, and now they're gonna be really fucking addicted to opioids. Whereas if you just gave them how much they need, they wouldn't be in excruciating pain and try to find anything that they can possibly find to get rid of it. And then again, you have overdoses. Whereas if you gave them the pills, and they can just take their pill, get enough, they're probably not gonna overdose. They get something on the street, unknown, because fentanyl, extremely potent. The amount someone takes is like a grain of sand, so they mix it with other stuff to make it bigger volume so people can see it, but you don't know how much is in there. So say someone buys that, and they smoke it, eat it, snort it, whatever. Who knows how much they get, and they might just drop dead. It's just so screwed up in all ways, and it's like even if they don't turn to that, like I said, they're gonna be suffering, it's gonna screw up their life, they're going to be non-functional, they might get post-traumatic stress disorder from being in immense pain. Like, how come that's never talked about? You can certainly get PTSD from being in constant pain. These people who work as doctors who have never felt pain are just dangerously ignorant. I'll leave it at that. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Check out my other videos. Check out my Instagram, natural_true_fitness. I've got a website, andrewhutchings.org, where you can hire me for consultations on training, diet, supplements, whatever, plans, consultations, coaching. No medical advice because I don't have my license yet, but you can get medical information, and the only difference is I don't tell you to do it. I just tell you what you can do and tell you what things do. I've got a book on tendinitis called A Systematic Guide to Defeating Tendinitis. If you've got tendinitis, I recommend that you go on Amazon, find the fastest shipping option, you get it ASAP, get rid of your tendinitis in like 3 or 4 weeks, and live life pain-free. But it's up to you what you do. Also, probably I'll just make another video on this, but I'm a firm believer of non-opioid pain medications. So this whole video I'm talking about opioids, like they should give people opioids, but actually they should really consider giving non-opioids. And I'm not talking about ibuprofen, Tylenol. No, I'm talking about ketamine, PCP. PCP, that's a real crazy one. That's why I tossed it out there, because it's actually not a real crazy one. I'm sure people at some point in time abused it. However, both ketamine and PCP actually block pain, whereas opioids diminish pain. If you have severe pain, opioids, especially nerve pain, opioids, they help. If you got severe pain, opioids don't cut it. You need anesthetics like ketamine or PCP. And the beauty is they're not physically addicting like opioids. So you can take them, come off, and you have no withdrawal. They're also pretty much non-toxic. And incredibly difficult to overdose on. So you bypass all those problems of opioids. Perhaps I should have just said this in the video, but yeah, I think people should get opioids if they want opioids. They should get these anesthetics if they want anesthetics. I believe in freedom. Like, it's not the asshole who works as a doctor's choice to tell you whether you get to get rid of your pain or not, and how much pain you have to. Think of how ridiculous that is. Like, well, I decided that you are okay with this much pain. What gives you the right to tell someone how much pain is okay for them to be in?